Our reflections this morning are going to be basically about our community and some of the experiences of a few of us in the activities that we've been engaged with. First up is Sue Jordan.
Good morning. It's been a little over 2 years since I first attended this church. It happened to be Water Communion Sunday, and this is when members bring a small amount of water from a place that's special to them. And I remember thinking, wow, this is church, and I was immediately intrigued. I listened to people tell why this particular water was significant to them, and then watched as they would pour it into a large bowl. The combined water being symbolic of the shared faith we have coming from many different sources. Whether it was from Big Chico Creek or the Mississippi River, Lake Oroville or Lake Victoria, or even water from our own tap, the collected waters mingled together in a common bowl, a celebration of this congregation's individual lives and faiths. It was my first taste of the UU's acceptance of diversity and the importance of community. As I continued to attend most Sundays, I learned that this community doesn't just talk about social justice and write a check each month, but they are actively participating in serving the Chico community. I really valued the hands-on approach to this, engaging the congregation in several projects. Members and friends have marched together for women's rights and LGBTQ+ rights, cooked and served meals together for the unhoused. Others participate in the Climate Action Commission, just to name a few. And there are many opportunities to connect with others here, like the No Guilt Book Club or the Walking Group. You'll also find many faces assisting in worship. You may not find me up here too often. I think this is probably the 4th time in my whole life I've spoken into a microphone in front of a group of people. But I'm very comfortable getting my hands dirty in the giving garden. Access to healthy foods is a basic human right. With this garden, we not only share homegrown goodness to anyone who needs it, but we provide the opportunity to work, grow, and teach. We've seen college students use their skills in building our rain barrel system. They're learning about permaculture, and so some of them are just learning basic gardening skills. I especially enjoy interacting with the variety of people that we have out there, and sometimes I'm asked about our church. I'm happy to share my experiences. I hope that I convey the open-mindedness attitudes of this faith and the sense of belonging that it has given me. To quote my father-in-law, church shouldn't be a place where you leave your brain at the door before walking in. This place makes room for asking questions and exploring and respecting all faiths. Here we do not need to think alike to belong. It is safe to offer different points of view. We can let our guard down. There's no need to perform or recite a creed. In this community, I feel heard, I feel cared for, safe, and connected to others. I've attended church fairly regularly most of my adult life. However, I have not been a member for a church for over 30 years. I am now a very proud member of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Chico.
So some of you have heard my story of how I came to UU, so I'll do it really quick here. I actually went to my first UU as a child, as a kindergarten, and did that for a year. And then when I moved to California, I would spend a couple Labor Day weekend up at the UU Labor Day adult camp every year, and really connected, enjoyed that, what I was experiencing up there, but didn't join the church. Then one weekend, Lloyd, my husband, was back in hospital again for his 3rd, or was it his 5th surgery stay. And I was home alone and feeling without community or a place to find a sense of peace. I was searching for somewhere to belong, so I ventured to a UU church. Well, did I find what I was searching for and more, and as did Lloyd, even though he wasn't thinking that I was searching at the time, we found the UU Church of Marin. Now, here's where I impress you with all these wonderful facts and lists of study that demonstrate the values of belonging to religious organizations. Don't worry, I'm not going to go on, but I did want to throw out a few facts out there and some things that I found out. A lot of sites talked about the idea that with our increasing individualism out there, isolation and loneliness is on the rise and are identified as driving forces for the rising rates of many psychological disorders. Humans have demonstrated a strong need for belonging, and religion helps meet that need. In fact, documented outcomes from long-term psychological studies show that on the average, people who regularly attend religious communities live 10 years longer, never have lower blood pressure, have better immunity. Those who practice in a centering prayer or mindful meditation increase their ability to have empathetic connections. We're less likely to be depressed or can cope better with life stresses. This list has been shortened and condensed thanks to Reverend Stacy. But beyond the personal benefits, there are community benefits, as pointed out by Ebbo Patel, a Muslim civic leader, in his TED Talk. He states that religions have played a vital role in creating those early hospitals, health centers, schools, homes for the elderly, and those with special needs. Especially if folks who do support those efforts are finding a greater purpose in life. And these acts may, in fact, make the world better. Social justice, I see. I have experienced these benefits and more. And what I've also found is a community where I can search for my truth. For me, our third principle, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations, and our fourth principle, free and responsible search for truth and meaning. These two principles are as meaningful to me as the two principles that most of us can remember. We can remember the first principle, which is the inherent dignity of every person, and the seventh principle, which is the interconnectedness of life. Right, I knew you could do it. Now, this may surprise you that I would call out the third and fourth principle. It's these two principles that I reached out when I first joined a UU church. They are fundamental to the acceptance that I have found in my own searching for truth and meaning. And we see these two principles called out again in the UUA's revised bylaws of Article 2. Article 2's values and covenant, particularly the shared values of pluralism. From Article 2, we celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology, and we covenant to learn more from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And we embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. For me, this is our superpower. It really is. It's what we are about: community, searching for the truth, exploration. And it is through the UU Fellowship that I have explored what it means to lean into our values and our principles in our fellowship and greater community. In the beginning, I jumped in with both feet. And as I continue to explore what it is to be a member of UU, I can now say that I've jumped in with my whole heart. My spiritual journey continues, and it continues with you and because of you. Continues because you are on the path with me. It's through worship, fellowship work and play, committee work, our garden, our book groups, our discussion groups, our caring committee, our singing, our worship, and our love. It's all these things that I get here. However, to continue to maintain our path, we must recall that we have congregational polarity. It is the specific form of church governance that is organized at an individual fellowship level. So this congregational governance requires many things for the fellowship to thrive. And today I want to call out the following three. We must encourage each other in their personal and spiritual development. We must take time to develop relationships with each other in this congregation. And we must participate somehow in the operation of this fellowship. Today, you will have the opportunity to see how you can participate in the operation of our fellowship after service. Again, from section 2, I want to repeat, love is the power that holds us together, and it is the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of our living shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. So what have I learned? What do I believe? Well, I've learned that I'm not the center, that there is something greater than ourselves, that the Spirit is found beyond the woods. Grief is how we learn empathy, and so it goes on, and with the support and commitment of this community, I will hope my path will carry on. For me, love is what runs through the center and guides my path along the way. Thank you.
Why am I here? My path has been a long Christian life, which it is no longer. But I've, in my walk in life and my various community activities, I have learned the value of participating and engaging and sharing my talents and what I've been given and that I've acquired. I've been president of a Chamber of Commerce. I've been a Chamber of Commerce ambassador. I went through the chairs in the Catholic Church with the Knights of Columbus, becoming a past Grand Knight. I've been involved in fiesta committees, all kinds of different committees. From it, it was a mutually beneficial thing. I was able to contribute me, but I learned and acquired relationships and friendships and experiences, and it helped me grow as a person. So really what today is kind of about is to, many of you have been engaged, but there is a lot of available here for us who are here today and those that we will see in the future. So we truly are a fellowship. I've said this before, that I feel and appreciate and enjoy the fellowship more than church. Because as a fellowship, it's up to all of us as to what we have here today. We're truly a small d democratic organization. We have what we have because of what we do and what we contribute. So to read now, why belongingness matters. Here are several reasons why cultivating a sense of belonging within the UUFC community is so important. Number one, it helps people fully engage in worship. When we feel like we belong, we are more likely to participate wholeheartedly in services through singing, praying, listening, and responding. We feel comfortable being our authentic selves. Number two, it encourages spiritual growth. Developing meaningful relationships and connecting regularly with fellows provides accountability, support, and encouragement for continued spiritual formation. Number three, it meets our need for community. Humans are created for relationships, as what Angela was alluding to. Finding a church home helps satisfy our longing for camaraderie, understanding, and shared purpose. Number four, it reinforces our identity as Unitarian Universalists. Knowing there are others on this spiritual journey reminds us we are not alone, which we responded to much earlier. We are not alone. Number 5, it enables and nurtures us to live out the UU principles. When we feel accepted and cared for, we are more empowered to extend that same grace to others. Belonging fuels our mission and our vision. So I would like to invite up now for some other enlightening from our various chairs. Pretty much, I think most of you know what you are engaged with. We have membership, social justice, caring committee, music, communications, worship, sound, book clubs, men's and women's groups. Please come up. Would you share with us a little bit of your...
Sure. I'm Megan Johnson. I'm the co-chair of the worship committee. The first thing I say is the two people who described the No Guilt Book Club have said it very quickly. It's no guilt, as in if you don't read the book, you can still come to the meetings. So, oh, I'm sorry. I just was afraid people didn't get that part. Okay. We'll make it brief. There's a lot of us here. The worship committee is involved in trying to make sure that each Sunday we have a spiritually meaningful service. And so we work with our either our minister or our guest speakers, and you all will always have a worship associate introducing themselves at the beginning of a service. We oversee readings. We have lots of sources to gather things from, and we work with Pam with music, and we just make the worship service happen. And if you are interested in being part of that, please speak with me or Angela, who are the co-chairs this year.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Meg, and yes, I head up the No Guilt Book Club. We meet the fourth Thursday of the month, and it's we read books from all different genres and gather together to have discussions about those books, and we really have some really great discussions. So I invite anybody who loves to read like I do to come and join us. I also am starting up again the Dinners for 8. So we'd like to have this quarterly, and Wayne and I would like to host the first one on December 8th, so it'll have a holiday theme. So if you're interested, afterwards at the tables, come and talk to me. You can sign up for that one, and if you would love to host a Dinners for 8, you can let me know, and we'll take it from there.
What
Thanks.
is Dinners for 8?
Dinners for 8 is a dinner at someone's home. Someone in the fellowship will host, and we have a dinner, 8 people, so it would be Wayne and myself and 6 others that we just come together, and we enjoy some fellowship, friendship, and community, and enjoy a good meal. That's it.
It's a potluck, if you didn't catch that. Okay, my name's Pam, and well, you know, I do music, and we're never set. We can always use more input, more musicians, and in fact, at the table when you go by, I have a sign-up thing where you can tell us your favorite hymns, and we'll try to put them into the service. It doesn't have to be hymn, it could be something else. So think about that. And with my other hat, I'm head of our communications committee, and that means that I edit the e-news that goes out every week, and I help with the website. And if you find editing kind of jobs interesting, that would be really nice to have. And proofreaders, you know, it takes a village to do stuff like that.
I'm Asia, and I lead Pub Theology. It's the second Friday of every month. We get together at the Discovery Lab, and we chit-chat, we have drinks and food, and we discuss theological questions. It's a great time. I don't really need help with that right now, but please come and join us. It's a lot of fun. I'm on the worship committee, and I'm the secretary of the board. And all I can say is you don't really feel the connectedness and love and belonging in this church until you start to help out with things. It's that working together on a team to make things happen that really connects you in a way you don't ever connect when you just show up on Sunday or show up to a few things. But I will say that's kind of scary. And there's a lot of big jobs and there's a lot of tiny jobs. And when I started volunteering, I would just volunteer for something I only had to do once. But I've moved past that, you can tell.
Thank you, Asia. I'm Bob. My role here this morning is to talk about social justice. However, you've already heard a lot of it from Sue Jordan. So when we talk about social justice here, to me, and who we are taking our mission and our values into our community. So I could brag and say we have, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 people that say I'm on the social justice committee, but essentially it comes from here and how we are taking what we believe and those values out into our community. Most of what we do, and you've heard and seen this before, is food justice, those that are unhoused, and also we are finding that more and more success taking this small group of people and working in collaboration with folks through the Interfaith Council, among others. But when you hear social justice from us, we're talking about our Giving Garden, which we are now have been working for a little over a year and a half with the Butte County Local Food Network, and it's got a ways to go, but you know what? It's one step at a time and it's working. Among other things we do, of course, when you hear about during service, who we support for the plate donation, we help assist that and pick a local group that we believe deserves some of our largesse, as well as the Red Wagon. The food of the Red Wagon goes to the South Chico Community Assistance Center. And I know I'm going to miss several. The last thing I'll say is a couple of weeks ago, we participated in the Gratitude Walk. And the little Post-it notes that are on the banner in the foyer show you how many folks came by and were moved by Ms. Angela here, who was out there roping people in, going, you have to participate, and they did. And some of the comments were wonderful. And excuse me, I can't remember what the charge was on our stop. Do you remember what it was? Generosity. Generosity, thank you. So folks were charged with, what in the next week are you going to do to be generous? These are the kind of ways that we touch people's lives, and it's not about just being a do-gooder. It's got to come from here. And I'm looking around this morning at about a quarter of the folks sitting here usually participate in what we do social justice-wise, so we thank you for that. And last thing I'll say, this is my other smaller hat, is that I'm sort of the guy who represents building and grounds. That's all I'll say, because it's essentially a long list of to-dos with way too much money to spend that we don't have, and I put out a lot of fires. That's all I'll say.
Well, hi, I'm Dave Keller. I'm the treasurer. Also, I do AV, and Malachi is doing AV in the back. Who likes spreadsheets? All right, you're on the committee. We need finance committee members. Okay, I'll let Lucy, you want to piggyback off of that? Or are you going to say something about finance? Okay. Anyway, finance committee, we help maintain the finances for the fellowship, make sure we're getting our pledges in, make sure that we're able to keep the lights on, but also support all of the ministries that our fellowship does. It's a lot of fun. Right? Yes. Come talk to me in the back if you want to help out with finance. Thanks.
So I'm Larry Gendro, and I lead the Tuesday night men's group. The Tuesday night men's group is a deep sharing group. We have rules, and so we're kind of like a covenant group, and you can't just drop in, but we have we could use a couple more members, and if you would like to join the Deep Sharing Men's Group that meets twice a month, Tuesdays 7 to 9 p.m. at the terraces, please let me know, and we'll indoctrinate you. I'm also the leader of What's Next, and What's Next is a group of seniors who have joined together to make the most of their final years, and this group provides information and support that enables that to happen. Our next meeting will be December 18th 7 to 9 p.m. at the terraces. I'm also the president of the Chico Optimist Club, and many of you have enjoyed volunteering with us for our annual I Have a Dream speech contest, which is held here, for our annual Buy a Firefighter breakfast on 9/11, and for having fun on New Year's Eve at New York New Year's. New York steak, New York cheesecake, and New York time, we celebrate at 9 o'clock. Unfortunately, being an Optimist Club requires you have members. And now the Chico Optimist Club is down to 2 members and looking to be ended at the end of December. So if you would like to join and keep this community service, we're a friend to youth and engender respect for law in the Chico community. If you'd like to keep that going, please contact me. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Sharon. I lead the women's group. We call it the Women's Wisdom Group. Its purpose is to gather in fellowship and to learn more about each other and deepen our relationships. And you can drop in. Anybody wants to come is welcome to come. So we meet on the second Thursday of each month at 7 p.m. right next door in the youth hall. So come join us.
Hi, I'm Shakti Leela, and the church calls the people that set up for refreshments after church the hospitality committee. I call us the kitchen seva team, and seva is a Sanskrit word that means sacred service, and so I kind of have a penchant for the Sanskrit. So, but I just want to say we have a wonderful little team that Luke comes in, Mr. Coffee, Bob calls him, Bob Crow calls him that. Mr. Coffee, Luke does the coffee, and Anna pitches in and helps too with setting up and so forth. And we have Mary Paul, who helps with dishwashing when she's here, and afterwards for cleanup. And Will Furr does a wonderful service for our church. He takes our things that are getting a little too old to serve again. He'll take them to the Torres shelter and give them out to people. So that's where the fruit goes and so forth. So we just have and Joan Shepherd also is the sanitizer, and she helps with cleanup too. And Bob Caldwell, because he pitches in all the time, so we really appreciate that. So just thanks. Oh, I do need somebody besides Pam to volunteer to be a washer of tablecloths, so.
Good morning, I'm Dave Strohmeyer. A few weeks ago, somebody was planning this service and they said, you go to men's breakfast? Yeah, well, who's in charge of that? Boy, we had a good laugh about that, because we're not an organization. If anything, we're a disorganization, or maybe just an anarchist group. There's a bunch of men, and this goes way back to the founding roots of the fellowship in the 50s or the early 60s, where people would gather over here and make a breakfast. But over the years, it's moved to various restaurants. Right now, we meet at Jack's, 9 o'clock on Thursday mornings. There's no membership requirements, no dues, no nothing really, except good conversation. We've had as few as 2 people, as many as probably 15 or 16. And it's a way to build community, and that's what we're all about. Sometimes the discussion gets political, but that's pretty rare. Sometimes we talk about UU stuff. That's probably not quite so rare, but a lot of times it's just interesting stuff, or sports, or Larry tells fishing stories whenever he comes back from a trip. So there's all kinds of good stuff there. The other thing I do is working with membership. We're in the process of converting from our old data system, which I kind of knew how to run and generated special reports and the like, and we're trying to figure out how to do a lot of that for the new one. So.
Okay, Angela twisted my arm, so to speak, but I love her anyway. My name is Susan Batchelor. I've been here a few years now. I do a really important job. It's kind of like under the radar, but I'm the assistant treasurer. So that sounds simple enough, but part of my job, I was having the discussion with Dave this morning. It's like, I know what paperwork we have to have. So people come and do work on our property. Oh, or do they have insurance? Yes or no? Do they have a W-9? Those are all really super important things. I told the story to several people. Well, why do we have to have insurance on them? Well, if somebody's working in a tree and they fall, land on somebody's car, break a leg, etc., if they don't have insurance, guess whose insurance it falls on? The church's. And every claim has the potential to raise your premium, et cetera, et cetera. Most homeowners probably know this. The other thing I do is I'm learning this new software that David just referenced to, and Dave's trying to learn it too, and it's keeping our books straight. When we pay stuff, making sure everything balances. This whole system of accounting, et cetera, is not as simple as it used to be. Especially in California, we have so many regulations. Fortunately, with my job, I'm well aware of all this and what's important to have on hand, et cetera. I'm also a worship associate. That's been a learning experience that we help put on these services. I've served on the board. I was on the search committee when we looked for Brian and found him. So there's several of us that wear many, many hats. And as Asia said, it's kind of scary at first, but once you step in, there's so much support in this fellowship. And I was thinking on my way over this morning, I'm so grateful because the connection that I have here is the one that makes me want to keep connections, not just here, but with people that in my other world. So if you want to do something, talk to anybody. They'll have a job for you.
Go ahead, Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob Caldwell, and Susan is not the only one who's had their arm twisted by Angela. And that's why I'm on the board, the Social Justice Committee, and the Caring Committee, and I now am leading a discussion group before services every Sunday morning, originally founded by Mary Lee. And originally when Mary Lee was leading it, she would have a formal presentation discussion topic. Now the way we're doing it is first I ask those in attendance if they have any topic they want to discuss. If not, I try to come up with something. Like this morning, our discussion topic was, I had seen someone who said that the election had proven to them that they had too much faith in humanity. And so I was asking the group how they felt if they still had faith in humanity, and how belonging to this fellowship helped them in dealing with this. It helped them keep faith. Or did the fellowship not accomplish that? So we had a wonderful discussion, 8 of us this morning, ran till 10:30. Normally, it's supposed to be 9:45 to 10:15 so that we can get the services, but the discussions usually get so interesting that they run long. So we would love to have more people attend, and I did want to say that I really appreciate what Wayne and Sue said about coming to this fellowship, because so much of it is the reason I came here, to find people that I could relate to, that I could talk about issues and important social situations with, more than their golf scores. And I have found a community that I will never leave.
Short on time, so I'll make mine really quick. I wear a few different hats, one of them being membership. My desire and dream is to double the size of the people sitting in these seats, to grow our membership. And that has been being accomplished somewhat by an organic level, with people finding us, searching, seeing our website, and coming. But I am looking to do actual campaigning to grow our membership, to keep this little secret, to grow this from a little secret to our whole Chico community.
I guess I'm the last but not least. I just want to thank everybody who's here and all the people who have spoken about their involvement in the fellowship, and how it's sort of like a dream come true for me, having started some considerable years ago, let's say around 25, when this building didn't exist and this congregation as it is now didn't exist. And I'm so, it's just a delight to see it. So I have been I'm chair of the Finance Committee now, and I've kind of always, Dave mentioned a little bit about it, and so did Susan, but it takes the people, and it takes our gifts, both of our time and our treasure and our talent, to make this place be what it is, which has turned into something really quite extraordinary. I would never have imagined there would be this many people up here this morning with all sharing all the things they do. So I would just like to end with that, and I think I'm turning it back to you, Angela. Yeah, it's just pretty much, you guys are all a dream come true for me.
I do want to say, I really wanted everybody from that coffee hour hospitality to get up here on the stage